Dragon Ball Super BRAW-ly. They did it! Yes! Yes, they did it! They got it right! They got it absolutely right! A Dragon Ball Z movie that's this good. The new Dragon Ball Super BRAW-ly movie is better than it has any right to be. BRAW-ly? Broly? Fuck it if I'm mispronouncing it. Fuck it. Stormbreaker. Get fucked, camera lens. Take you to the movies, I will. Come here. This is why my reviews are so long. What the fuck is wrong with this fuck this. BRAW-ly was always a legendary character in the DBZ lore, despite having a weak and simple story. But here, Toriyama has retconned all the prior fare of BRAW-ly. Was it even considered canon? And has revised his history in much more effective ways. The changes are fairly simple, but just make so much more sense. The threat of BRAW-ly's natural existence would scare King Vegeta into exiling him. It's incredible. Initially, BRAW-ly was, you know, that baby that was born at the same time as Goku, born with the power level of 10,000, and Goku, before he hit his head, was that very loud and annoying child who cried all the time, and so BRAW-ly hates him because, you know, he's traumatized because they're next to each other in that, like, Saiyan hospital or whatever the fuck, and BRAW-ly wants to kill Goku, Kakaroto, because he remembers all the pain he caused him with the crying. See, this is what I mean by pretty simple, pretty stupid, but kind of cool, like, that he's that, probably the most powerful being in their universe at the time, anyway. And then he goes fucking Super Saiyan. But they changed it now so that BRAW-ly is born around the same time as Vegeta. I mean, Goku is still born around the same time as them, but, BRAW-ly's in that same hospital spot or whatever where the Saiyans are born as Vegeta is, and the king is upset because, you know, his son is the royal bloodline and BRAW-ly is the son of a commoner, and he's like, why is this commoner in the same room as my son, you know, the elite? And the way they do it is just like his natural powers are off the charts. He's actually stronger than Prince Vegeta. And the king doesn't like that at all. So it makes so much more sense that he would want to exile him. So of course, to send him off to that planet where he hopes he'll die, it was just a simple change, but it worked so well. Now, as is such with any origin story, there's a lot of talking here. A lot of information is streamed through these great callbacks to the original show and movies. And then they show reimagined versions of the events we all know, like the destruction of Planet Vegeta, Bardock's death. You see a lot of these things. The visuals are similar, but they've changed things a bit. And really, throughout this whole introduction, you see Toriyama's heavy influence from Superman. I mean, especially, I watched the original Superman movie a few years ago again, and that beginning on Krypton, you know, with Marlon Brando as Jor-El sending young Superman Kal-El off to Earth, it's just, you see that Toriyama saw that movie and he loved it so much that Goku's backstory is very similar, but so much of Superman is in that. I mean, Goku even wears similar colors to Superman. This is especially true in this BRAW-ly movie. I mean, you really do see it when Bardock and his wife send Goku off to Earth. It shouldn't work, but it does. It works really well. The pacing goes something like this. Half the movie is explanations, half the movie is fighting. The first half does drag at times, but it's so well made that you know it's going somewhere. Plus, it's very funny, with Frieza having some of the best laugh-out-loud moments. And that parallel between Bulma's reason for summoning the dragon and Frieza's reason for summoning the dragon, it's very, very cool. You know, it's stupid as hell, but it's funny. It's very silly, and it works. I really do think it works. Kind of has the humor that Battle of the Gods had. But Frieza has this great moment that involves a flashback to the original series, and it's so funny. The whole audience lost it. We all died laughing. It just hands down the funniest moment. You'll know when you get there. Just really unexpected genius, actually. I love the way they called back to the original show, DBZ, and the movies. It was very clever. It's actually kind of genius because they minimized these flashbacks. The way I think I did it is they kept them really brief and quick, but they were like these little winks so that old fans like me would instantly know what was talking about, because they had this difficult task because they have to appeal to the old fans like me who know who BRAW-ly should have been or whatever and change him, but also make it make sense for the new fans. So they did it a really smart way. They paid homage to that old stuff and they kind of integrated it in, and then you could see where they changed stuff. They kept a lot of the stuff the same too. But it worked because the flashbacks were really quick and the winks were just right there. They were not in your face. If you're a new fan of DBZ, I don't think you're going to be totally lost. I think you're going to love it just as much. Obviously, if you don't know anything about DBZ, you're not gonna know what the fuck is going on, but who's gonna go see this movie if they don't know what the fuck DBZ is? But I think this film does a great job of appealing to the old fans and the new. And where it goes is awesome. The showdown that takes up the second half is incredible. And especially the fight between Goku and BRAW-ly will exhilarate the old fans as well as the new. The animation is brilliant. Fucking amazing visuals. Stimulating our senses like any new age movie should. And the shifts in styles and animation is so inventive. With the camera swirling around insanely, losing its mind. Up close and breathing with the action like I've never seen in the show before. I grew up with DBZ. I never kept up with Super. But this is the kind of movie that makes me want to. If that isn't the highest praise I could give it, I don't know what is. DBZ is still as ludicrous as ever, which is why it's still so good, and why it's remained relevant and important after all this time. This edition will give the fans what they want, and sets up future iterations that I will welcome with open arms. I will say the ending of the fight between Goku, Vegeta, and BRAW-ly is a bit anticlimactic, and somewhat of a letdown. But it does make sense. And I'll take it, seeing as how any sequel film basically has unlimited potential now that this one has set the groundwork. Oh, and the music! The music is outlandish but epic and cool as hell. It's some weird shit that's playing throughout this whole thing that accompanies this journey. But oh, I was so down for the ride. Just so unexpected, like I loved it. It's like, huh, what is that playing? And then, oh, this is actually really working. And it played during the fight scenes and it just amped it up. It was so cool. So yeah, if you're a fan of Dragon Ball, go see this shit. Go see it. It's really good. Like, just out of nowhere. Some of the best fight scenes I've ever seen, honestly. And the camera work was insane and incredible, but you could follow it all. And oh man, so much screaming, like... And it would like zoom up on their eyes, like...
It requires an epic amount of screaming. It requires an epic amount of energy to get through it.
The yelling and the powering up and the fighting and screaming.
I remember seeing Vic after recording. I was like, I would not wish that upon my least favorite person in the world.
I love the way he's portrayed in this film, and you actually feel for him. It's not just this big, huge guy comes out of nowhere and wants to fight people. There is more to it than that.